Hello, 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 hello. Hi, happy Friday.
Hi!
Oh my God.
I cannot believe that it's
Yay.
easy. I can't do it, but you can do it.
I don't know. It's tech. I don't even know how. It's just technical difficulties. But
Okay,
hey,
we finally did it.
yeah, how are
Good
you?
morning. I feel like
You know,
I'm the hosting you, but you're hosting me.
oh, it's so funny. Well, anyway, at least we're talking.
Exactly. That's the most important thing. So I
Yes.
always say to people, I always introduce myself and then talk about why this is such a critical conversation. So I guess I can't pin a comment, but anyway, hello, everyone. My name is Aisha Fatima Dozier. I'm the founder and CEO of Bossy Cosmetics. And every couple of weeks, we have these chats. We call them Bossy Chats. And our goal is to speak to amazing women in business around the world. And I think we've had about 24 conversations so far. So for me personally, as a businesswoman, this is my own personal learning journey, and we've just opened it up to our own audience. And today I'm speaking to Christina Cow. And if you probably already know her since we're on her channel and you know her brand, her nail care beauty brand. I want to talk to you about, I know, about your nail brand, about building a business, a global business, international distribution, all that good stuff. But before we get into the nitty gritty of the chat, can you just introduce yourself, who you are? Just give like a quick 30-second who you are before I dive into all my questions.
Yes, definitely. So I'm Christina. I'm the co-founder of Mini Macaron. We're a French-American brand. And I'm originally from the US and I've lived overseas for probably 15 years. So I was living in New York before, then Shanghai, now in Barcelona. So definitely very much into international cultures. My business partner is French and my team is very diverse. And we are nail brand. We are all about gel manicures. Actually, let me see if I can grab. I have like all these products behind
Please.
me.
Ooh,
But I'll show you real quick. We
gorgeous.
we do manicure kits. So super cute. It's a little macaron shaped LED light. You can dry your nails
I
in
love it.
30
And I see you
seconds.
guys just did a rebrand or like a refresh of the
Yes,
logo and the brand. Awesome.
absolutely. Like we've been around since January 2015. We actually launched on Kickstarter. It's been a while, like 7 years. And the packaging, I mean, some of the packaging was from 7 years ago, and it was time to update it into 2022. And so that's what we did. Let me see if I can show you. Okay. I know this is like a little bit of a show and tell, but it's fun
Oh, but
and
let's
it's
do it. Why
Friday.
not? We're here to learn
Yeah.
everything.
So this is, you can see this is like our licorice kit. So it's an opaque black polish with a little mackerel LED light. So on the outside, you've got the original logo with the packaging and brand ID. And then on the inside, you've got the new logo, which is clearer to read, easier to see. And yeah, everything. We wanted to just update it to make it a little bit more modern. This is
So
we're
let's
all about macarons.
I love the whole macaron in the brand, in the shape of the gel, dryer and all of that stuff. But let's start from the beginning, right? 2015, I'm sure as a brand owner seems
Yeah.
like centuries ago, but it's not that long ago. So can you I have a whole bunch of questions, but the first thing is, how did you start the journey, right? Because you have achieved commercial success. So take us from to the beginning.
Um, yeah, it's been a while. And actually, I started the business back in 2013 with my partner. So my partner is my ex-boyfriend, actually, Francois. So that's a whole story for
Oh
another
my God,
day
one
or
of my
maybe.
questions
Um,
talking about finding a co-founder, but we'll get to that.
yeah, and I mean, a brand is a baby, right? Your brand is your baby, and you put all your energy and time and effort and money into it. So it's a lot of work. It takes a lot. So, we started in 2013 the business. We tried a few different things, and then the brand launched in 2015. So I would say it's been a journey. There's been a lot of learnings over the years. We were based internationally, so we did more of an international distribution business. And then probably about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we decided to really focus on developing Europe, and so we launched with several retailers in Europe, as well as really developing the D2C. And we also have a D2C in the US. So probably the last 2 years, we really focus on growing the US market, the e-commerce that we have, as well as retailers. So we work with like Ulta and Target. I've done QVC back in the day, like went on the show a couple times. What else? We work with Nordstrom and Nordstrom Rack. So we have some lovely retailers that we partner with, but it's about balancing offline and online. And then the team does a great job in terms of social and all the marketing efforts. So really trying to build a brand that's going to be, lasting and that people can emotionally engage with.
So I think you have already done that. And that's, I mean, so first of all, congratulations on, building a global brand. For many of us, I have a US focused brand at this point in time. And for many of us, the goal is to be global. Can you talk to us about how you started off in Europe, right? Can you hear me?
Can you say again? I think it's
I said, can you talk to
missing
us
some
about
things.
how you started in one region and then decided to grow globally?
Originally, we were doing a lot of product development, and because we were living in Shanghai, we were looking for distributors who could help us develop their markets. And then also because we were living in Shanghai, we were selling in China. So we work with Sephora China, Lane Crawford in Hong Kong and China. So we had some nice retailers like that, but that was our local market because we were over there. But China's a beast of a market, right? Because it's massive. You have to do a lot of marketing investment. And at the end of the day, I'm American, my partner's French. We know the Western markets better because we are consumers of these markets. So we also decided to move. So we wanted to move over to Europe and then also just develop some local markets ourselves directly. So I think it was organic the way we did it. I wouldn't say we set out, I do think if I had only lived in the US, it would have been natural for me to develop the US market. And that's a huge market with just tremendous opportunity, and there's wonderful retailers, and the D2C space is amazing. So the US by itself is a lot to handle and a lot to do, and has a lot of rewards as well. It's competitive and it's expensive, but it's wonderful if you can make it work, right? So we were just overseas, and that's how come we started with like international business.
Okay, awesome. So tell me first about why nails. Tell me the sort of the personal why of the category that you decided to go into. Why nails?
So I actually used to go to the salon when I had a corporate marketing job. I was going to the salon to get my manicures done every couple of weeks, and I loved getting gel manis. I loved just being able to have that shiny manicure that wouldn't chip, and I wouldn't have to think about it for like a month. So that was, it was like my little treat. But I really didn't like the time that it took to get to the salon, how much it cost. It was so expensive. And then when you have to remove it, you have to go back in. So it just really was a commitment, right? In terms of my time, money. And, at that time, nail art was kind of coming out. It was like pretty big. And so my partner actually was in the beauty business already. So fortunately, he had the ins in terms of relationships with suppliers, knowing about product development, knowing about logistics. So that was really great because it gave us that boost in the beginning. And I was coming from more of a marketing, like agency background. So I was working on marketing, sales, packaging, all that creative, fun stuff. And then he was doing the back end, like the supply chain, logistics, all that. And we just joined forces to do this. But the original reason was because I wanted to make gel nails and gel manicures really affordable, really accessible to people like myself, like people who didn't have a lot of time and just wanted to have like gorgeous manicure, just it doesn't have to be a splurge, right? It could be a daily routine thing.
Yeah, yeah. So great. So, and I know that obviously you were an executive in marketing prior to starting your own company. And I always find that for so many of the entrepreneurs and businesswomen that I've interviewed on this series, a personal need or a personal problem is what drove them to create their companies, because then you have a very personalized identification with the issue and then the solution. So I love that this was a service that you really love to enjoy, but then, you know, you wanted to make it a lot more accessible. And you've done that now where you are in Ulta beauty stores, I believe, as well as Target stores and Nordstrom.
Yeah, we're Ulta.com. Would love to get into stores. We email them a lot. Um, yeah, where are you?
I'm in California.
Oh, okay. No, I mean retail wise. Where are you sold retail wise?
Oh, so retail wise, we are rolling out to 300 JCPenney stores this year. We started off with just 10. We're rolling into 300 doors this year and 600 next year. So it's a massive rollout for us. We're in a bunch of small boutiques. We also did QVC as well.
Oh
And
my
on
goodness.
Amazon. Amazon is a really big business for us.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay. Well, the next time I'm in the US, I'll go on Amazon and do a
Yes, you
little.
can. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Yeah, so we launched with Target in Q4. We had an end cap in 250 doors, and then they wanted to roll out in line, like what do you call it? Like just full year in February. So we are during this year we're in the nail section in 500 doors. So that's been amazing for us. Like I have to say from a business perspective, I was pretty worried. I was like 500 doors. I want to make sure we have sell through. I want to make sure people know what the product is and they can find it and buy it. And so I was paranoid, but some people on my team are like, it's productive paranoia because
Yeah.
you're trying to prepare marketing and sales plan to make sure we sell through. So yeah, that's actually before we launched, I was very concerned that, can we drive really strong sell through for them and make sure that they want to continue to work with us as a partner. So yeah, we have been doing great marketing. The team has really, we leaned into TikTok a lot, I would say in Q4 and also in Q1 when we relaunched. And the team has done a tremendous job just finding those like TikTok creators and storytellers who are going viral. Like we just have these videos that go viral. So that's been fantastic for us. And yeah, like it's doing really well. So we kind of have the issue now where we're running out of stock because it's selling out, and it's a good problem to have, I suppose, but we're just like desperately trying to get restocked to keep the
Yeah.
momentum going and
So a
ramp up the
couple of
marketing.
you've touched upon that I think are really important to talk to about anybody who's interested in starting a business, because sometimes our audience who view these episodes are interested in becoming beauty founders themselves. And I think one of the things that you talked about that I'd like you to expand a little bit on is people always get excited when there's an opportunity to get into a retailer. And I
Mm-hmm.
always, first of all, it is a lot of pressure and a lot of stress, right? Because first of all, big cash commitment. You have got to go and get all of this big supply and provide it to
Mm-hmm.
them. Also have to make
Yeah.
sure that it is a successful partnership. So you don't just sell a bunch of things to Target
Right.
and say, okay, bye, on to the next thing, right? You've got to make sure that you are successful in that retailer. So I love how you kind of went into that and talked about how you use TikTok and how you use social media to keep sort of the brand in general going so that it becomes really great from a sell-through standpoint for your retail partners. Is that right?
Yeah, so because we've had the business for a longer period of time, like it's not like a brand that we launched 2 years ago. We definitely had many years where we tried different things, we failed different things, we have been in different markets. Like we were all over the world. Like we launched in Sephora Middle East in 2 shops, and we thought, oh my God, we're launched in the Middle East. I mean, to drive sell through in the Middle East for 2 shops, like they were big shops for Sephora, but it's hard, like we're not from there. We weren't on the ground. And we've had a number of stories like that. And so I know what it is to not sell through. I know what it is to fail with a retailer, for them to say, we want to return the stock, we want to mark down. So when we had this really large opportunity with Target, I think we were at a stage in the business we were ready to take it on, because if you'd given me this opportunity 5 years ago, I don't know if we would have done it the same way. I think those failures really taught us, and this came at the right time for us, because then we also had built up the team. So we were very fortunate during 2020 and 2021 with COVID, because actually when people were locked down and quarantined, doing your nails at home, like nail care, but also just specifically
A source of wellness and joy.
for self-care, me time, taking a break. Also, I like to say that our manicure kits it's like beauty entertainment, right? Because people didn't have anything to do. So they wanted to take the time to learn something. And it was like the moment to DIY and to get crafty. So it was really good for us. I think we had this like fresh boost. And also interestingly, this is something I've kind of looked at recently is that, we're doing really well in Gen Z. Like, I mean, we're doing really well with Gen Z and especially on TikTok. And I think it's because Gen Zers are really into DIY, like just getting your hands dirty, really into experimental stuff. And, they're not necessarily wanting to go into the salon. They really are interested in kind of having that freedom to do stuff by themselves. And like I think on TikTok it's resonating a lot because the Macaron lamp is very iconic, so it's super cute. And this type of stuff it's working for us. But we also had a few years, with COVID booming the business for us online, we used that opportunity to try to like just hire more people on the marketing team so that I think when the Target opportunity came, we were ready. Like we had a team that'd been together for about a year and a half, really working on marketing and creative, digital performance, e-com, all of that, paid social, everything. And so the team was pretty cohesive. And so when the Target opportunity came, I would say we had the team ready. We did a lot of advanced planning. So that marketing plan, we started to build out that marketing plan probably 3 months out of launch, something like that. So there was a lot of, and there was just weekly meetings, brainstorming ideas, and like everything that we thought about we could do went into that plan. It was like, we have a blog, let's write an article, let's link to target.com. Let's get our PR agency to take photos of the store, like the product in front of the store. So we had some images because I'm not in the US and the team is in Barcelona. So we said, we need to have some people take pictures for us. And let's make sure that, let's do a giveaway and let's find Target haul influencers, like people who specifically talk about, like influencers who specifically advise you what to buy at Target. And they were secret sauce for us because they really like drove people into stores like, pick this up, this is the beauty item you need this week. So there was a lot of ideas and those started to go into the plan, I would say 3 months out. So we really lined up a lot of different things. The combination of having the team already in place and then previous failures that really made me worried if we could do this well. And then just like the ideas, like all those different things. And we've spent years like doing our email marketing, and we opened up SMS marketing, which we hadn't done before, and that's been great. And Target's just a great partner. I mean, they're a really good credibility builder, I would say, for brands. I mean, like a lot of the retailers in the US, like the good ones, it's good for the brand image, and we're very grateful to be working with them. And they also, with the Ulta shop and shop, like at Target, have just been tremendously growing and doing such exciting things in the space of beauty that they're constantly in the news with all of their developments. And because we're also with Ulta, it's just great halo effect, I would say.
Awesome. So what's next?
Yeah.
You've conquered so many massive retailers and you are selling through, which is amazing. Where do you see the brand go?
So we started as a gel manicure brand, and then now in terms of product development, now I like to say we can really make anything that's like hand and foot, color and care. So we launched nail care a couple years ago. We do a lot of nail art accessories. So we have like nail art stickers, nail art brushes. We do a lot of kits and sets, which are quite fun. And then just developing items that are more, I would say we have some cleaner and greener natural items coming in the space. So we're excited to unveil that soon.
Okay. So fingers and toes, care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Color and care.
Color
yes,
and
care and color.
Care and color, color and care. So let me ask you, one of the things when I love to ask people, what keeps them up at night when they run their business, and many things keep me up at night, but one of the things that's increasing me up is supply chain. And I you have your business is based in Europe. I don't know where your products are produced, but if you are selling to retailers in the US, that's already one leg of a chain. And I can tell you, in buying 300 doors of JCPenney, if you see my desk, it's filled with spreadsheets. It's filled with like, is this moving on the C's, and where is this and this purchase order? You
Hmm.
know, for me, if I have to say one theme of this year has been supply chain that keeps me up at night. What keeps you up at night as you grow your brand?
Yeah, that's funny because after our Bossy chat, I'm gonna go email Nordstrom Rack about a PO that we're having trouble with because it's delayed. It's very difficult. I think supply chain has been, I mean, for the past 18 months, it's been such a challenge. Like, we have been a startup that has been trying to improve the way we work as we grow and build in longer lead times. And we got completely slapped in the face because of the global delays. So, whereas our team was like improving, we were doing better, and we were having these longer lead times on product development, we can't actually benefit from them because the supply chain delays have just wrecked everything. So, fortunately, my brother works with us, and that's his problem to help solve. So he really works with Francois, my partner, and they are, it's a mix of having a lot of inventory, which takes cash, and just like tons of advanced planning, all the production that goes into that, and making sure that way in advance we are ready. So we have our, methods, like we're doing air shipping, which is very expensive, but,
Yeah,
sea shipping has always been
happy to
crazy.
hear
It's not
what,
like,
because you are
yeah.
making me, I feel seen. I've had to airship, which is not ideal. I've had to buy excess inventory, which is not ideal. So I'm so happy, Christina, to hear you saying that, you're doing the same, because it's the only way to meet the moment.
Of course. I think if you've got momentum, you have to support it with product, right? Like, that's the big missed opportunity, is that, we have stores in Target right now that we're out of stock, and stock is in transit, but it's those missed sales opportunities because the marketing's running and they're driving where to empty shelves. I mean, so, we're trying to drive them to web instead, but you really don't want to be missing those sales opportunities. So I think, like, the thing that we're saying right now is, from the brand side, taking it upon ourselves to really step up and be a great partner to our retailers to make sure that we do everything we can. And so for the near term, we're absorbing the margin hit because we want to be in stock. Like, we have amazing partners, world class. And I want to just do the best for them so that we continue to get those opportunities. And yeah, I mean, that keeps me up at night. We're also growing pretty quickly. So, I mean, one thing, like, Francois always jokes, he's like, you love making org charts, and then you're always like spending time like reorganizing them. I'm like, yeah, it's true. I do like making org charts and like moving things around. Yeah, we're growing pretty fast. And, we run a US and a European business. And so for a long time, we did it with one team where there's a lot of crossover. Like, we're the global brand, but then we also have US and Europe. We also have our distributors. Everything was a bit grouped. But now, as the business is growing and we see that each region really needs its own attention and localization, we need to split the markets and have, the US side and the European side, and just really make sure that they're both being serviced with a lot of attention to detail. I mean, one thing we've been doing is, we have our two websites, and when we want to launch something, we try to make sure both warehouses have stock, or if we want to do a promotion, that both have stock of the same color. And that's really hard to manage because Europe versus US, you have different colors that sell better in different regions. They have just different promotional and sales periods. So we're coming to a point where we need to localize. So actually, like, this is our, the mini Macaron account on Instagram, that I would say most of the followers are American, Italian, and Spanish. But soon we're going to break out and have separate Spanish and Italian accounts again, which we had like 5 years ago.
Why you can speak
But,
Spanish and
sorry?
so that you can localize what you put on each of the channels?
Yes, we did this like several years ago, but we had interns running them. So it was hard because they were growing, but then the engagement rate and stuff was hard because we weren't really able to give that love. But I think now we're ready. I think the businesses in these different places have grown. And I think, yeah, like, we have team members, we have European, most of our team is European actually. And it's time to, I'm sure there's Italians probably on this live with us. but they want to hear it in their own language. Like, of course, you want
Yeah,
to be marketed in a way that you can understand and appreciate. So we're going to be doing that soon.
that's amazing. So apart from, so I want to just dig a little bit into, how you think about growth in the brand, right? Because you have strong, very individual, different markets. You've talked about Spain, you've talked about Italy, you've talked about the US, which are, completely different markets, right? It's the same product, but the way you reach the customer is very different. How do you think about building your marketing teams for each of these different, I mean, you came from a world of marketing, so this is natural to you. How do you think about building your marketing muscle in all of these areas?
So as a startup, I think in the beginning we were very tactical. So we were also trying to do several markets at the same time. So we had a lot of like interns and people helping, and we were doing local events. It was very tactical. I would say we weren't super strategic in the early days. Um, Obviously, I'm American, so the US market is more intuitive for me, even though I haven't lived there in a long time. And with the recent expansion in the US, I was very, very involved in the marketing, like just really with my team, trying to make sure that all the details, I was very involved in that. But I think for Spain and Italy, like I recognize that I'm not Italian. I mean, I was there to go. I saw some shelves that we had in La Rinascente. But, how do I reach the girls in Milan or Roma? Like, I don't know, right? I maybe have some very preliminary ideas. And we do run paid social. Like, we have paid social, like paid media agencies. We have one in Barcelona, one in New York. So we have our partners that run paid social. But for a long time, the way we run paid social is we make one set of creative. I mean, we have different campaigns, but we have creative that then it's just translated. The languages are different. But like as I mentioned, the colors that work well in different regions vary. So now we're seeing we really have to localize, especially with UGC, right? We're doing much more UGC on paid social. We have an agency that just does UGC creative for us in the US. Now we're asking our Barcelona agency to offer that as well. So I'm imagining like, okay, so we're gonna have like UGC Italian, like girls talking about in Italian how they discovered this product and like, doing years. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that looks. So we're going to start to do that in Spain and Italy. And, I recognize that I'm not going to be the one that's going to be able to lead this. So we're looking for support. We're hiring a lot right now. So hopefully soon we're going to have some support to really lead on the European marketing thinking. And then just I can kind of step more into just the global strategy, work a lot on product development, and then have people with the experience and who are marketers in these local markets really
Yeah.
drive on the ground and
Yeah.
and develop for us.
Awesome. So tell me, I think when I was reading, obviously in a healthy way, not in a stalker way, I was reading about you so that I was informed on you and I could ask questions. But one of the things I saw is that you do not have VC funding. You're bootstrapped. Is that correct?
Yes, we are bootstrapped. We for the whole time that we've been doing the business, and at this stage, we are not there yet in terms of like ready to move ahead on that. Do you have funding? What's your situation?
Yeah, so I raised a friends and family round. So a very small amount of money. I raised slightly over $1 million, and that's it. Everything else we only closed that last month.
Okay.
So we have been bootstrapped since then, and we brought that in so that we could do the 600 doors of JCPenney without losing our minds.
Totally. I think that's the concern now, and I think that's the thing that we're really thinking about because there's a lot more inventory that we need in both US and Europe for all the various things we want to do. And I think,
Yeah.
interestingly, we have certain retailers, some in US, some in Europe, who are really good at forecasting with us. Like they will tell us very early on the orders. We were really trying to collect forecasts for Q4 much earlier this year. But then some of the bigger retailers, they are coming in now. And we're like, oh my God, like we are already done with production. Like we need to be shipping because we need to be shipping in September, right? So I think this is challenging to manage because the big retailers are still on their own schedules sometimes, and we need to figure out how to do, because I want to do that business, but what are we going to ship again because we didn't
I
want it?
had to give a piece of a PO because I knew there was no way that I was going to be able to
Yeah.
meet the, and I think it's, and this is why ultimately, and so I don't have any VC funding. I just went to friends and family because
Yeah.
I'm ready to have strangers in the company yet. And I really would love to be able to bootstrap till we are really large is my goal. But I realized that if I didn't figure out a way to bring in a ton of inventory, especially with new products that we're launching, because we also did a brand refresh, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I have like this opportunity, which is that we lost 50% of a PO because we weren't be able to get the order in time. And it's so painful, right?
Yeah. It's
And
like my,
I know you just see the money flying out and you're like, but
oh
there's
my God.
nothing you can do because you've got it. So what I now did was, and I don't know how your supply chain works, but our supply chain is, our primary packaging is made in China, and then
Mhm.
it's put on a boat to Italy. So our lab is actually in northern Italy, so it's put on a boat to Italy, and they do all the fulfillment, they do all the filling and all of the packaging and the secondary packaging, and then it's put on another boat to the US.
Okay.
That whole process used to be about 6 months prior to wonderful
Hmm.
pandemic.
Hmm.
Um, with the pandemic, it blew up to anywhere from, I don't know, 9 months to God knows what, right?
Yeah. Oh my
There's
God.
so much in between, and prices in between have also exploded. So
Yes.
I don't know how your supply chain works, but if you want to be able to, if you don't have a customer, a retailer who gives you 9 months in advance notice for the whole year, if they come in the middle of the 9 month period for something,
Yeah.
you have a problem.
It's really hard. I think we have very similar. So we have some stuff that's totally finished in China, and then we have components in China that go to Europe, and so then we have a warehouse in Spain. So finished goods can land into Spain, which is fine for our Spanish, our European business, because then we're ready to sell. But then we also ship that stuff to US. And then if we're trying to launch at the same time, I'm like, we have to make Spain wait. So Europe has to wait because I want US to receive it so we can launch at the same time. So when we split the markets, we won't have to do that anymore. But we have, yeah, very similar. It's insane. Like we do filling. We're not, well, Italy, not yet, but we could do some stuff there, but mostly like France, Spain, Eastern Europe, we have some partners. So it's we're experiencing the same. And as we work on our NPD schedule, like when we have our NPD meetings and there's like the items that we're used to making and that are getting finished in China, I'm like, okay, those I know the schedule, we can make the planning. Then there's all those other things that were like new stuff that we're not used to making, and then there's a lot of components, and it's going all over the world. I was like, don't talk to me about those. Like, you guys figure out the schedule. I just don't even want to hear about it until we get. I mean, this looks like it could be like 12 months. Like, I'm like, I don't want to hear about marketing. We can't set any launch date. I told our concierge NPD manager, I'm like, I just want to know the in warehouse dates. That's all I want to know, the in warehouse dates for Spain and US, and then we'll talk. If you don't know yet, like let's not present it, because we were like last year we were presenting our account team that works with our retailers, our e-com marketing. We were presenting to our clients, and then we got super delayed. We were presenting newness that we had to pull off because all the containers got delayed. There was just delays at every step of the way. So it's a beast to manage, but I would say everyone's in the same boat,
Yeah,
more or less. So
yeah.
then business is, in some ways, business is kind of on fire still, right? Like there's still this from the pandemic, but stock is an issue, delays are an issue, everyone's overpaying. So I think we're all in the same boat.
No, the point that I wanted to make is, not to complain, but just, I always tell people think that running a beauty company is, getting all dressed up and you have makeup on and you're da 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 da. I only have all of this on because I'm chatting with you today. Generally, I'm not on my generally I have on my pajamas, I have my spreadsheets, and I'm like, I have post-its all over my walls,
Yeah.
and I'm on the phone with like my team who's doing customer excellence, and I have a much smaller team. So we are literally just, so we work with a lot of, we have a PR agency. I'm working with a content creation agency as well, but I'm trying to just make sure everything is going and that we physically have product to sell. So I always tell people what I love about these Bossy chats is, it's so easy for you to see social media and it kind of looks like everything's all tidy and it's just like a really easy thing to do. And I'm
Mhm.
like, if you want to start a beauty company, like watch a couple of these episodes. I always ask people what keeps you up at night, challenges. The other thing I want to ask you about is your biggest mistake,
That's a
or
good
as many
question.
mistakes you want to share, but at least one.
Um, well, I mean, this is just because we were so green at the time. So this was back in 2000. When was this? Maybe 16. So we had an opportunity to launch into Canada with Hudson's Bay, which was it's a retailer. I think they have 90 doors, department store, great retailer, and we were so excited. It was a very significant order. They were bringing us in for holiday, but there was maybe opportunity to continue in all their stores. So we shipped it to Canada. We were living in China at the time, and then we thought, yay, we're launching in Canada. We got a PR agency. I went there, so we did PR events in like Montreal and Toronto. I met all the editors, the bloggers, because back in the day we called them bloggers. And then we hit stores, and that was it. We didn't do any training. We didn't do anything after two PR events. The PR agency worked with us for 3 months, so they continued to do, PR. And then at the end of the season, 23% sell through. We were on the gifting table, but nobody really knew what it was because you just had the product there. And apart from just the sell through and us not doing enough marketing to build awareness, launching in a new country, the consumer doesn't know us at all. If we wanted to succeed in that market, we should have taken it seriously and thought, well, we have an entry into this premium retailer, but what's the plan after the holiday? And what else are we doing to drive 360 marketing and awareness? I mean, we could have run paid ads. We could have done training in some of the stores, at least the key stores. There's a lot of things we could have done, but we had no idea. So the marketing and sell-through was like, the marketing was non-existent. The sell-through was like really not
Was
good.
like marketing.
Yeah, and yeah, but we had no idea because this was early days. And then the other thing was, this is crazy, but like we were living in China, and then we didn't have, I mean, we were selling to a retailer in Canada, right? It's not a distributor or whatever, it's a retailer. And so we said, okay, we're gonna work with you guys, but we didn't have a company in Canada, right? And like, I didn't even think about it. So the container lands, and we didn't have a PO. We had an email with a forecast of how many products they wanted per SKU, per product, right?
Wow.
The container lands, and then we get the PO, and the PO is split up by store. So we had bulk shipped everything, and it was just like in like master cartons, bulk shipped, everything by color. And then we get 90 purchase orders. And everyone's like, we want 12 of that, 12 of that, 12 of that, or double. And it all looked like that. And we were on vacation in Bali. We were just like,
What did you
yay.
do?
What?
What did you do?
Oh my God. So we were on vacation for a week in Bali. I was up till 3 a.m. every night calling Canada, trying to deal with the logistics. So the container landed. We had to repack everything into like 90 purchase orders. We didn't have any partners on the ground. We didn't have any business on the ground. Like, who's going to be the consignee to receive this order? We had nothing. Like, we actually assumed it was coming off the boat from China, going straight into their distribution center. That's how naive we were. And so that was really horrible. Like, every night at 3 a.m., I'm in Bali, and like, we have this picture of us like sitting on the computer, just like, and it was so funny. There was a warehouse that we had been in contact with in Canada. Maybe they were going to truck the order over, and I was calling them, and they had someone working there who was Chinese, and I was living in China, so I was just speaking. I mean, she'd been in Canada for ages. I was speaking to her in Chinese, and I was like, "We really need your help. We need to repack everything. Like, we don't do this." I was like, "Please get some cartons, and we'll send you the new POs. Just print them out, print out the 90 pages. We'll ship the cartons to you. And she paid me, like, can I pay you on WeChat? Because we were living in China, like everything was on WeChat. It was so ridiculous. And that was really painful. And okay, they got to, so there was like the logistics story, and then there was the marketing and sales story. So it was like we basically failed on all fronts. So it's stuff like that I'm like, I mean, that's just one example. There were a lot of other, like, for example, we decided to do business in Taiwan. This is like really ridiculous. We opened a company in Taiwan to do business there. I mean, I don't know, like I would never do that today. It's such a small market, but my family's from there. And we would go to Taiwan into these like really rural areas to check our product shelf. And they were in Watson's, which is like a drugstore. But you know, our product, it's not going to sell in this type of environment because it's just too mass. And it wasn't moving. And then we were in these rural areas. So I would like see the product shelf. It'd be in the back of the store. It was like a standalone. So he just like lug it to the front of the store, and there would be no people in the store. It was like a rural. So then he just moved it to wherever he wanted in the store. It was so crazy. And we were doing trainings. Like he's Chinese also. So we were just doing trainings in stores, both of us speaking Chinese, demonstrating the product, how to do a gel manicure. And he's like a guy doing it, you know, like a French guy speaking Chinese to Taiwanese people. It was just so bizarre.
I love it. I mean, these are the war stories of business, right? These are, I always tell people, I'm like, I am such a huge supporter of following your passion. Clearly, I'm an entrepreneur, but the journey is literally one of volatility. Like you'll have the highest highs, the lowest lows, and between the two, it's like choppy and choppy and choppy. So thank you for sharing the war stories. I love to hear them on this chat. Can you share a couple of the opposite? Like what have been some of the most amazing things that have happened that you're like, oh my God, I did that?
You know, I would say recently with our TikTok success, and that's really a team effort. So it's not like I could say I did that, but it's really a team effort. And when I see the success and I see, okay, it does take a village, you know, we need to coordinate a team, but it's amazing. Like we've been getting these viral TikTok videos. So like the biggest one is probably 19 million views. And
Wow.
yeah, it was amazing. She's called The Greater Good on TikTok, and she's a like a calligrapher, but she also loves doing her nails, and she's really good at painting nail art because she's a calligrapher. And so she did her manicure in the car, and we loved it. And then you know, so her video went viral, and then we commissioned a second piece, and it went like super viral. So it was just really cool, and just to see that, and also just the planning that went into it, you know, the conversations, and then how do we, you know, think about setting it up for success. Like a lot of our TikTok campaigns, like we say, please tag Target, and Target, you know, just tag our partners. And then Target actually reposted one of the videos back in November, and that video went viral on their page. So their TikTok page, it was the #1 most viral video for Target. So it's just these kind of things that have happened that we didn't go into it with that intention. We didn't know. We didn't have that much experience with TikTok like 6 months ago. And leaning into the successes and just seeing like, and seeing the virality grow and grow and grow, that's amazing. And that's just like, whoa, like we had, the early years were hard. The early years were really a struggle. Like we didn't make money for a long time. I mean, he's my ex-boyfriend, like we were fighting all the time. And it was really difficult, you know, it's just, and you're just like, and you don't know, I'm just like working on it.
Co-founders and exes, how is that?
It's really good now, but it's really taken a long time to get here. I would say we're very different. Like we're very different in terms of personality, culture, very different culturally in terms of how we work and manage. But I think we complement each other in the sense that we each know how to do what the others, we have our strengths, which is different from each other. So we're very good complement.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we didn't go into it thinking, let's build a huge business and do this forever. You know, you kind of just are naive, and then things happen and you make a thing, and then it becomes a thing. And then suddenly, you know, now you have to support this business.
Question, but I don't think I can, since I think you initiated. I
Okay.
just want to make sure that there are any questions that we haven't. I've seen a few that you've spoken
Okay.
to. There was a
Yeah.
question.
Is there software you use to keep track of everything? And then when you ship product to these companies, who pays for shipping? That's a good question. When you ship product like to retailers, well, it depends on your agreement with them. I think a lot of times the brand covers it. Have you considered writing a book? Oh my God, writing a book. I mean, that could be interesting. There's a lot of war stories. That's from
I
Andrea.
love book. I want to hear all the war stories. We need to hear the war stories.
Maybe if we sell the company one day, then I'll write the book.
Oh, let's put that into the universe.
Yes, let's manifest. I'm all
Let's
about manifest.
manage the sale.
Yeah. Would you consider writing a book?
I would. I would for sure. But I wouldn't write a book about running Bossy Cosmetics. I would write a book about my life. So Bossy Cosmetics would be a very instrumental part of it. But I think that I got to Bossy Cosmetics through a lot of really, you know, interesting, magical, mystical moments. And I think it would be a great story of inspiration. I'm a first generation American. I'm a
Mhm.
mom. I've got 3 sons. I was an investment banker before. I burnt out severely from being an investment banker. I mean, if I wrote a book, I would want to share that journey around challenges, around the war
Yeah,
story, the moments of success and excitement, but then the moments of absolute petrification. I always say, like, I have a PhD in imposter syndrome. And so, I, one of the main ethoses of this company is really helping women combat imposter syndrome and, combat like just dealing with confidence building. It's so important. So, yeah, I think one day I would write, but you're right. I'd love to sell Bossy Cosmetics one day in the future, though, not anytime soon. We are much younger than you, and we have so much more to build. And I also aspire to one thing. When I was reading about you, I was so excited to meet you because I want to grow a global brand as well. Like, we have a warehouse in Italy and we have a warehouse in Pennsylvania, but our warehouse in Italy is really because that's where our lab is and
right.
everything's. But I started thinking when I was there in February, why don't we sell in Europe? Like, if everything is made, like our final product sits in Italy before it comes here for sale, then let's think about a European business. So that's something that I'm really passionate about doing this year. I really would love to be able to sell in Europe.
Yeah, Italy is been a great market for us. I think it's very interesting because we have, like, I would say France, Spain, Italy, UK were the four ones that we really focused on when we first started. And so the consumer profiles over the year, it's emerged like what these consumer profiles are like. And Italy, like, they just love like glam and color. They love color, right? Italian women is like very diva, like full on, like the hair is done, the full face is done. They don't shy away. Spain, it's a bit more natural. Like, they're more into like
Yep.
skincare, natural. They're not so into color, but Italy, I think for color is just they really eat it up. And I think you have partners like we're with La Rinascente, which is a department store. La Rinascente is like, have you been there to that
Of
store?
course.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's just like, I was telling someone, like, it's like the Selfridges of London. It's like maybe Nordstrom in Paris. It's like the Bon Marché. I mean, it's just that really elevate, like Lane Crawford in Hong Kong. I'm like, if I could help people understand, like, what an amazing retailer and how much product discovery they are doing. And I just think they're such a wonderful partner that I would really say, like, they are a great support, especially for indie brands, American brands. They're looking for that kind of thing, and they have just like amazing locations and great customers. So,
I
Italy.
will
So,
ask you offline for an intro to
yes,
Larry.
we'll go into more war stories.
Yeah,
We'll talk PO and logistics
yeah,
on Zoom.
yeah. Well, listen, honestly, Christina, thank you so much. We are getting close to the hour. We've got 3 minutes left. This has been such an amazing conversation. You are such a role model and inspiring as a woman business leader who has built an amazing brand globally in some of the most iconic retailers. So you inspire me. And I always tell people that I do these bossy chats very selfishly. They really are my way to get to meet people and hear your story. Um, and then obviously if it's a blessing to other people, great. But really, I really think this is, yes. So thank you so much. And I think my last question, somebody asked, what is the store you said for indie brands? She said La Rinascente in Italy.
I'll just,
Please say live. We'd love to watch what we missed. When we are done, I will download this. So if you can save it, you don't have to put it on your feed, actually, Christina. You just save it. I'll download it, and then I'll upload it to our page so that we keep
okay.
it.
Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah. So is there any last thing that you feel you want to share?
Well, I appreciate so much you reaching out and us doing the Bossy chat. I think something that in the last 6 to 9 months that has really emerged for me is how important the founder community is, especially in beauty, because we're in beauty, and how supportive the community is. So I'm very grateful that we could meet today, and I really look forward. Where are you in California? Which
Uh,
city?
Palo Alto.
Okay, so I'll definitely be in touch so that we can meet in person. If you come out to Italy, let me know. If you come out
Oh,
to Europe on
in
your
Italy,
next, yeah,
in Spain.
I'm in Barcelona.
Ah, you're in Barcelona. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I should be there. I was there in February, and I will be back in Italy in July. So I will definitely ping you.
okay. We'll keep in touch and hopefully we can meet. And I just feel, very grateful that like you and just other founders that I've met, it's just been so amazing because we do need each other, right? To learn from and to grow. And it's just a very kind and supportive group. So I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Christina. Congratulations on all of the success and the success to come. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person very soon.
Sounds good.
All
Have a
right.
wonderful weekend.
You too. Bye.